Hello boys and girls, and welcome to today's video. We are taking a look at the Tamron 18-300mm. A few things to go over before we get into the actual video. This is a crop censored lens, meaning it is designed for aps-c cameras. If it's a 24 megapixel, you're still getting 24 megapixel. However, if you put it on a full frame camera, you're going to go from, say, the A7 IV, which is a 33 megapixel, down to a 22 megapixel. Now, there's a few ways to deal with this. The first one, most cameras have an aps-c mode, or if you're shooting video, you can crop in post, use clear image zoom or the aps-c mode. We're using the Sony a7S III, which is a 12 megapixel sensor, but that means that 12 megapixel sensor, when cropped in, is going to be an 8 megapixel sensor. The reason that I bring this up is, while I love the images out of this lens, you've got to be aware that the images you're seeing aren't super high resolution, but they are still pretty stonking. Let's talk about the advantages. It says it's 18-300, but the real truth is it's 27-450mm. To be able to get that out of one lens means you need this. Let's take a look at a few examples of the focal range. So let's first take a look at another Tamron lens. This is the 17-28. Then a Sony lens 24-70. And then the Tamron 18-300 or 27-450. That is insane. Here you see a photo, nice wide photo of a field. In the middle there is a seagull. We zoom all the way in. Yeah, that's the same seagull. I did not move any closer. That is the same seagull. It's good at macro photography, to be fair, as well. Take a look at this flower at the bottom of the field. You zoom all the way in. I didn't move a muscle. Did not move a muscle. So here's another one. In the middle you see another flower. If we zoom all the way in with this lens, didn't move my feet. There you go. You can even make out spider web or wherever it is on the actual plant itself. It's incredible. There's a lot made by some people that this isn't a G Master, it's not built. Tamron makes solid lenses. The throw from 18-300 is minimal. It's not stiff, it's not loose, it's solid. The focusing ring, on the other hand, is still solid, but I'd say a little bit more flowy. What I also like is the fact they included a lock mechanism. One of the actual negatives is the fact that because this extends out, it is more likely that dust and all that sort of stuff will get in these gaps. I mean, it is an over time thing, and it will take an incredibly long amount of time to get any sort of meaningful dust in there, but it will happen eventually. It is weather sealed with a weather sealed gasket. There's two more things that you need to bear in mind with this lens. It's not parfocal, which means as you're zooming in and out, it won't keep focus. I didn't have any real issues with it while I was out in the field. And the fact that it is a variable aperture, meaning, you know, as you zoom out, the image will natively get darker. But if you're filming in the right sort of settings, your camera will compensate for that. Another great thing about this lens is that it is optically stabilized, so that when you are at that telephoto range, you still get a good amount of stabilization, and you will need it. Anyway, let's take a look at some of the other photos that I got. I took this probably at the maximum range because I couldn't get any closer. I did then crop in post, so while I'm working with an 8 megapixel image, I then go ahead and crop anyway, but again, for social media, perfectly fine. This one of this Blackbird is significant because I'm absolutely amazed by the Lightroom update. So in post, I found that the background was perfectly fine, but the Blackbird itself was a little bit dark. So I went into the new feature, Select Subject. This thing is incredible. It will pick out your subject from its background so easily, and then you can manipulate either the subject or the background. You can invert the mask and automatically go ahead and adjust everything, contrast, exposure, saturation, and then go back and adjust your original image and everything moves up. It's just fantastic. Again, this is another zoom in one, nice bokeh background, and then we go in. Look how sharp that is, and I didn't again move my feet. Next one, we got a beautiful little robin. Now I've made this one a little bit warmer in post. Here's another one, super sharp, super crisp. And then I've got some ducks, including this happy chappy, and some swans. And then some squirrels. We got squirrels in the back garden. We leave nuts out. We're in a nice area for the squirrels, so they've managed to find their way to the nuts and come back literally all the time, every day. So let's talk about video with this lens. Yes, it can be used, obviously. I got some great slow motion 4K 120 shots with this lens, although I have to push in post. But yes, this is a solid photography lens, the only photography lens you're likely to need in 99% of scenarios. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on the Tamron in the description down below. Like, share and subscribe. I shall see you in the next one. Don't forget to buy a poppy either.